themselves connected.
By installing the cable themselves, the residents aren't reliant on the major infrastructure suppliers like BT or Fujitsu. Andrew Metcalf is a farmer here and has invested in shares to help fund the venture, as well as promising time to help dig the trench.
All our information now comes through the computer, stuff from the vets, especially for the government. Do you remember dial-up? Oh, it can take an hour, you know, the documents are so big, you go away and have a cup of tea and you come back and it's still not done, and it just seems to take so long. It's painful. So for us, for a purely business point of view, we need to do this.
So what's your contribution been to this, Andrew?
Well, we've invested £1,500, money-wise, and then because they're obviously coming across our land, we put the time in and we actually dig it ourselves, so we do the work.
BT has promised to roll out high-speed broadband to 2/3 of the UK by 2014 and is one of the companies working with councils and public bodies to try to reach as much of the rest as possible. But there are still a few areas that won't be covered. Brendan Dick from BT says they won't be laying fibre optic cables here as it's just too expensive.
Well, if you look at the geography, you can just see it's a big challenge given the very dispersed population.
So we've got farm there, there's a farm down there beyond it. So basically, there are too many farms?
Well, it's not the fact of farms, there's not enough people. The farms are a factor, because clearly one's got to dig over large tracts of land to get to the premises.
How much does it cost to do that?
We're talking about, you know, many, many tens of thousands of pounds probably. Per premises, it could well be into that level of money. Could be.
You're such a huge company. How come the company generally can't eat up the cost of this?
I'd love to be able to stand here and say we'll do the whole of the UK, but economics just kick in.
You're not a charity?
We're not a charity, no. I have to admire what they're trying to do. The key challenge isn't just building it. The key challenge is how do you find money year on year to sustain it and evolve it.
The local project hopes to connect around 1,500 properties to this meganet. The first farms and homes will go live in July, and the first phase should be finished by the end of the year. By selling 2 million shares at £1 each to local farmers, the project hopes to raise the money needed to help lay the state-of-the-art fibre optic lines, which then connect directly to the World Wide Web.
Chris, if BT, a multi-million-pound company, can't afford to do this, how on earth are you doing it?
We can do it with the power of the farmers, basically. The farmers are helping us, giving us way leaves through the land and helping us to dig it in, because they're really desperate for a connection and they know this is the only way they'll get it.
So how much is it costing you?
The whole of phase 1 is costing 1.86 million.
How are you raising that much money?
We're doing it through raising shares from the community themselves. We've raised over 300,000, enough to do the core of the network.
If the initial dig is a success, they hope to roll it out to anything up to 15,000 properties. There's another boon to the community pulling together. Whilst it looks low-tech, it's mega high speed.
Just how quick are we talking?
The fastest in the world. There won't be anywhere that's got anything quicker than this. We're initially starting it at a gigabit, which is 500 times the government target. It's fast enough to do high-definition television, it's 3D television. It's really anything that you could envisage wanting to do, either in a business or in a residential setting for the next few decades, that can deliver it.
Despite being out in the sticks, the folk here will soon be cruising the internet superhighway. It just goes to show you, when a community comes together, you get power to the people.
Yes. It's amazing when you get farmers and tractors on your sides, I tell you what. Hilary, that must bring a smile to your face.
It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
How much did they put in together, do you know?
These little bonds, I'm not sure how much they were, but it was...
They did it through shares, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't mess around, the fastest ever as well.
Well over $1 million, though, to raise. I mean,
I'm going to take the concept to Marrakesh, actually.
Right, what, just going for it and putting it in yourself, right?
I think so.
Good, that's interesting, because you've got lots of little hubs all over the world. Yes, I mean, you're famous for not really having a holiday, but you kind of work when you're there.
I never have a holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So important to keep in contact, though.
Yeah.
Well, you're here to talk about your new book, Bold as Brass, your autobiography. I mean, it's incredibly honest, Hilary, but you said that you hated writing it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was not therapeutic or cathartic. It was...
Why did you do it, then?
Because I was asked.
Right.
Oh, right.
Okay. That's
I love that, a bit of honesty.
Yeah, but what was so traumatic then about it?
Because I always thought I'd had a very normal childhood. And when I actually started to read it, I thought, crikey, I'm not normal, am I? It was not a normal childhood at all.
Right.
And then when I started to read about what I went through with my son, and that actually made me cry, and the relationships that I've had, and why did I go wrong in them, etc. So
yeah. So has it been a bit of therapy in that way? Then? I mean,
no,
looking back, what have you kind of learned from
it? I've just learned, I think, that no matter what life throws at you, you've got to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's another day. One door closes, another door opens, and you just have to keep on fighting.
Yeah.
Would you write another one, do you think?
Well, let's say the first one is an unfinished work of art.
Ah, there you are.
Which was the hardest stage then, looking back? Will we say of all those doors that have closed?
I think possibly the hardest thing to write about was my time with my son's father.
Right.
Because growing up, you've got to understand, I didn't know any differently. And people say, oh, but I was quite happy as a child. You know, I didn't perceive myself hard done by, because there was always lots of laughter and lots of love and cuddles. And I wasn't hard done by at all. The fact I had to work, I was pleased to have to work because I was helping my parents.
Yeah. And you do talk a lot about your parents in the book, especially your dad. And his opinion really did help to form you, didn't it, as a person?
Very much so. He kind of, for every problem, he had a solution. And his philosophy in life is now my ethos, which I've engendered throughout my life, which is one door closes, another door opens.
Okay.
And tomorrow's always another day.
And indeed, the door of the Women's RAF opened up for you, didn't it?
It did,
Like,
yeah.
what was that experience like? Why did you decide to go and join the forces?
Because I wanted to travel. And I thought it was a good way to see the world. It was a good way to finish off my education. Because of working, I never actually got round to finishing my education. So joining the forces actually gave me the opportunity to finish my education. But unfortunately, halfway kind of through, I actually did my time. I did the 3 years in the forces, and then when you had to then sign on for 7, my father developed stomach cancer, and the distance and the phone calls was just too heartbreaking for me. And then they prevented women, they put a moratorium in the armed forces on female RACs, RENs and WAFs travelling. So I thought it was then time to leave.
It's quite difficult sometimes to get out the forces, isn't it?
It was incredibly difficult to be released because I was incredibly good.
Right.
I was
Well,
very good.
undoubtedly, yeah.
No, I was
Yeah.
absolutely excellent. It took me weeks and weeks of interviews for them to release me.
Wow.
And finally they did, and it was purely because I couldn't function thinking of my father dying.
No.
And I wasn't there to support him.
Yes. But you have succeeded at most things. But I mean, we were quite shocked, though, to learn how many times you've actually been sacked.
Well, that was only 16 and 15
I know.
and 12. I mean, come on.
feel for you, because I have too.
Go on, you've got to talk about the pepper factory.
Yeah, chopping peppers, I wasn't quick enough. Handing out leaflets, I binned them and was caught. You know, things like that.
Yes.
You know, when you're young.
Well, I mean, I was only
experiences.
12. Give me a break. I wasn't even of employable age.
But that was on the market stall, of course.
Well, it was Pop Bailey's on Bolton Market
Right.
Stall. And I loved him. He was called Alf. And I loved him. And he loved me. I was his little girl. But, I mean, in the end, I think it was either me or him going bankrupt. Because every time I picked up a tray of china, I dropped it. So the whole damn lot.
Well,
So
the book is loaded with brilliant stories, isn't it? Right through.
Yeah, it is brilliant. Boulders Brass is out in bookshops tomorrow.
Now, if you live on the coast near Grimsby and you look out at sea, you might be able to catch a glimpse of this.
Yes.
What a sight.
Now, that big hunk of metal is travelling all the way up the east coast of Britain.
Well, Dan Snow has been to Portsmouth to find out what it is.
And where it's going.
Aircraft carriers are the pride of any modern fighting fleet, and our Royal Navy is certainly no exception. The names of the 3 most recent carriers, Ark Royal, Invincible, and the illustrious moored just over there, are seared into British military lore. But here in the vast Portsmouth naval base, something altogether more magnificent is being constructed. 65,000 tonnes, 280 metres long, 56 metres from keel to mast tip. In scale alone, HMS Queen Elizabeth represents a new breed of carrier, and at a cost of £2.5 billion so far, it ought to. It will act as a home and a runway for up to 36 state-of-the-art Joint Strike Fighter jets. And it will have enough crew on board to allow it to operate all around the world. And this section here, well, this is only 1/10 of it. Individual sections of the Queen Elizabeth are being built at 5 separate UK shipyards. These will all be towed to a 6th in Rosyth, Scotland, for final assembly, just like this mighty piece from Portsmouth Docks.
We will be arriving Friday evening in Rosyth. To do that, we'll go out of Portsmouth, we'll take a left, we'll head up around the south coast and then take another left right up into Rosyth.
So as long as she keeps turning left, she will get to Rosyth?
Absolutely.
Why are they all being built in different places?
Simply, they're massive. There's really no one yard around the country that is capable of managing something of this scale, and to that end it was split up around various yards around the country.
Shipbuilding has been such a big part of Portsmouth life for so long that sometimes several generations of the same family have all worked here, building the ships that let Britain prosper. Paul Jerram is one of 3,000 Portsmouth locals who have dedicated the last 28 months to building this section. Paul, how long have you worked here?
I've worked here, I've worked in the dockyard since 1976.
And then your dad?
My dad worked, he started during the war, and my grandfather used to work before my dad started out, and now I've got a son that works for this company. It's a mixture of the skills here. There'd be some stuff your granddad would recognise, but then completely space-age skills today. When I first started, we didn't use a laser, and we've got a computer system that we use in helping us building the carrier.
So despite all the new technology, traditional skills are still important, aren't they?
Oh yes, you still got to measure from the bulkheads. We still use rules, dividers, calipers. You still got to learn all those original skills which go back, I assume, since the days of the Victory and before.
So Lee, you're the new generation, you're the young blood. Does it feel like you're making history getting this boat?
Oh yeah, so when you see it in the water, I can say to my grandchildren eventually, and that's well, I worked on that ship and say stuff like that. It's really good.
HMS Queen Elizabeth will be completed in 2016. It will return back here to Portsmouth and its keys handed to a grateful Royal Navy.
Some creation. Hilary, that is a transporter's dream, that, surely. It'd take a few pallets to put that on, wouldn't it, just?
I could handle it.
I'm sure you could.
We don't doubt it for a second.
Don't underestimate.
No. Now, Dan, when is the section then supposed to get to Rosyth, and what will they do with it when it does get there?
It's on course. I hope it's on course. The good people of Grimsby can let us know. Nice clear night. They should be able to see it, but it should be on course to arrive Friday night. And when it gets there, the exciting bit happens, which is they're going to slot it. They're going to take out a piece they've already got. There it is on this graphic. They're going to slot in our bit from Portsmouth. That is a specially enlarged dry dock deck. It's the biggest ship ever made for the Navy. And then they're going to slot that next bit in, and it's going to fit together perfectly.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it looks very simple, but is there a bit of concern? I mean, because all these parts are being made across the UK. So
Yeah.
Are you sure it's going to work?
Don't you worry about that. It's going to be absolutely fine. They have got technology that you would not believe. They've got this laser. He mentioned it in the thing. They've got this laser that creates down to like an atomic level to make sure every single piece is ready. So when it goes together, nice and flush.
All right, so say it does go to plan.
Yeah.
When will it be completed?
Well, it's difficult to say, but they're hoping that they can give it to the Navy to let the Navy start working on it in about 2017.
Okay, and has there been a U-turn on the planes that it's expected to have?
People might have read in the press or seen on telly that there was originally a plan to use the old method of a short takeoff and then landing vertically. Then they want to switch this side of the US Navy used, which is that you land like an airstrip and then you have to stop the plane with these wires. But that's really expensive. And they've U-turned back to using the vertical landing. So it just kind of lands like this on this graphic here, like that. And that is £1 billion cheaper than the other way.
Is it really?
But it looks so much gentler, doesn't it? So it makes sense.
It's a bit, it looks, there you go, exactly. You don't need all the crew trained up. It is gentler on the deck, actually, because you pound the deck on the other one. But it's the planes are slightly less good, slightly less good variant of their F-35.
That's the
important
thing,
Yeah, but we'll be all right.
Okay, good. I have to say, just before you go as well, thoroughly enjoyed your commentary on the flight past over Buckingham Palace.
Thank you.
It's very nice.
Thank you, Dan. Nice to see you.
Now then, it's 65 days to go till the Olympics, and well done to everybody who got tickets today. Things certainly look like they're going to plan. However, there's a new threat that's arisen, and it only strikes at night.
The authorities are taking it very seriously, as Lucy Siegel found out.
Meet Charlie, the latest weapon in the preparation for the Olympic Games. In the past 6 weeks alone, this sniffer dog has been part of a team which has checked 10,000 hotel rooms Today, he's conducting yet another inspection on a London hotel, the identity of which we've agreed to keep secret. He's not looking for explosives or drugs. He's on the hunt for bedbugs.
He starts off searching furniture and the beds and then the room structure. Normal levels of infestation, you have to work him round the room and he'll find pockets of scent and indicate to where they're strongest. In extreme circumstances, he can detect bed bugs from outside the room as the scent migrates underneath the door. The hotels are checking their rooms clear before the officials and athletes arrive.
Cymex lectularius, or bedbugs to you and me, live off human blood. Despite their name, they rarely stay in our beds. They favour any cracks and crevices where they can safely hide. They're about the same size as an ant, and they are spread from place to place by hitching a lift on our clothes and belongings. It only takes a few months for a small number of bugs to multiply into thousands. The Sydney Olympics had a big problem with bedbugs in 2000, but it's thought the insects were already there in large numbers before the visitors arrived. There was also a big outbreak in New York in 2010. They even found their way into the Empire State Building. For hotels around London, the battle is on to make sure that visitors for the Olympics don't end up sharing their beds with some unwanted guests. Sisters Joy and Melanie know just what a problem it can be. They were bitten to pieces during a night in a London hotel.
We woke up in the morning and Joy was still asleep, but she was scratching. And I was shocked to find that I had a lot of spots down my left arm.
We went out shopping and we started getting itchy spots and quite hot. By the time we went to the theatre in the evening, it was extremely itchy.
I had 86 bites. Most of them, 30 odd, were down my left arm. So that was really sore and very irritating. Joy
had about 54, but mine weren't in one particular area, mine were all over.
These photos show just how bad the bites were. Thankfully, such a strong reaction is rare. For most people, the bites are itchy and uncomfortable. Experts are split on whether the huge influx of visitors for the Olympics will further spread our existing bedbugs. David Kane thinks it will.
Well, we already have a significant problem, like many cities in the world. It's not just London. There are problems in every major city across the UK where incidents have been on the big increase.
So what is your fear with the Olympics?
Well, my fear is that we have a problem already. We're going to add more to the problem with the tourists and people visiting the city, and we'll end up with a huge legacy of bedbugs.
So what sort of hotels have bedbugs?
Well, it's a myth that it only happens in cheap hotels. We've been in and investigated problems in hostels, in bed and breakfast, and luxury five-star hotels. Bedbugs don't care where they end up as long as there's a regular source of people for them to feed from.
Back at the hotel, Charlie's inspection is complete and no bedbugs have been detected. Where they are found in small numbers, they can be dealt with professionally in a matter of hours using pesticides or heat treatments.
Most of the hotels now are engaged in regular monitoring and screening activities, and most now have had all of their housekeeping and maintenance staff properly trained.
But we still need to be on our guard. So if you are staying in a hotel in the UK or abroad, there are some steps you can take to make sure the bedbugs don't bite. They can be easy to spot, so look out for distinctive black marks on furniture, their white eggs and their discarded skins. If in doubt, ask to stay in another room.
God. Oh.
There we are. Well, Hilary can't look. All of us are a little bit... there we go.
God.
Oh, it's making me feel itchy.
Yeah, so if you see Usain Bolt with a few extra lumps, you'll know exactly why. There we go.
Well, one of the businesses your family run was a hotel, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
But you didn't have an infestation, did you?
Good God, no.
But they go to clean places.
Well,
apparently.
Nobody ever complained.
No.
Was it ever like a topic of conversation? Nobody ever really bothered with it?
Never.
Oh, that's good.
No,
there we
never.
go.
No.
Now, since drawing stumps on his umpiring career, cricket legend Dickie Bird has had a bit more time to keep an eye on the turf in his own back garden.
Christine joined him at his Barnsley home.
The owner of this garden has inspected grass around the world, from Manchester to Mumbai. Millions of people have been agog to hear his verdict. I'm talking about a cricketing legend, the former international umpire Dickie Bird.
An umpire Bird, with a gesture worthy of a great Shakespearean actor, not only signals no ball, but holds it for at least half a minute.
Of all the grounds he's surveyed, this is his favourite, with a view over his hometown.
I was born and bred in Barnsley, and my father worked here in the town. He was a coal miner. I've been all over the world in my profession as an umpire, but it was always nice to come back to Barnsley. Walk down the pathway and put the key in the door. I think I have one of the best views around Barnsley.
It's not bad from this side of the Pennines. I bet it's better from my side.
That's it, Lancashire. we cross into your country, Lancashire.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to me, this garden, and I mean, I had the plum trees, apple trees. The plums are real big Victorians, and I used to have strawberries just to the left here. The big blackbirds kept eating the strawberries, so they went for a burden.
What is the story with the hat in the tree?
The hat in the tree there is someone gave it to me. I thought, well, there may be some bird that come and, you know, nest there, but nobody has.
As a boy, Dickie played cricket for Barnsley with another famous local, Michael Parkinson. But Dickie went on to play for Yorkshire.
I have a rose there. I got that in 1959 when Yorkshire won the championship, and each member of the Yorkshire team got a white rose. So when the white roses come out, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, nearly as good as the red
Not
ones,
the red
rose. Of course, the rose hasn't been Dickie's only gift over the years. The house is stuffed full of medals, presents and awards galore.
I've kept everything. I've got all my medals and trophies and photographs of the royalty where they met the Queen 29 times, all together at test matches and other functions and going to Buckingham Palace and things like that.
It doesn't quite match up to honours from the Queen, but I've got my own little presentation for Dickie's garden. Well, I was going to bring you a cricket bat, Willow, but 100 foot tall. I didn't think it was suitable. So I thought you might like this too.
That's lovely, Christine. That's marvellous, isn't it?
It's a thing called Coreopsis summersorbet.
Yeah.
It will grow about 2 foot high, and it's got beautiful, fine, pale blue flowers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, lovely.
But you see, I think that in there, you know, when it forms a nice mound, I think it'll look quite nice there. Bit of sunshine as you walk round.
Yeah.
Lancashire sunshine.
Oh, dear. Have a look over those pennines, see if the sun's coming out.
Of course, it's blazing in Lancashire. You've spent your entire life as an umpire. Do you have any regrets?
The one regret I have in life is I've had no children. I never married because I was never at home. To have had a son and a girl and a couple of lads and what played cricket, ball to them, it had given me a lot of pleasure. And I would have felt, you know, so chuffed, but it never happened, and that's the one regret in life.
It's not bad just to have one.
No, I've had a great life, some wonderful moments that I shall always treasure. Aye.
And congratulations go to Dickie as well for picking up an OB last week.
Yeah,
there he is.
There you go. Do you know all his garden needs is some Alex Jones daffodils?
Oh, Matt, yes.
Get them at Chelsea very soon. But yeah, we were talking about power dressing earlier on, and on that theme, I mean, you do look absolutely magical tonight. Do you have like, you know, stylists and all of that kind of stuff?
No, I style myself.
Do you really? Right?
Yeah, because lots of people at home will be thinking now, where does Hilary Devey get her clothes from? Because you always look amazing. Would you ever sort of bring out a range or anything, do you think?
Yes, I'd love to.
Oh.
How many outfits would you say you have?
Too numerous to mention.
I don't know how many outfits.
Well, listen, everybody out there has been dressing up. Look at George, who's 9 months old. Look, he's power dressing in Nottingham. Good lad.
Yes. This is Dave Owens at his friend's wedding, and he's from Exeter, looking very smart, Dave. What do you?
This is very of the time. Look at 5-year-old Freddie with his homemade Olympic torch in Bristol. Good lad, and just time for Amanda Dodd there. She is a power dresser indeed. Look at that.
That is a nice
with
dress.
attitude.
Fabulous.
Yeah, good.
Yes, that is. Massive thank you to you, Hilary, and good luck with the new series of Dragon's Den, which you're filming at the minute, aren't you?
Yes, still filming.
Time to get the old hand in the pocket again.
Yeah,
yeah. Hilary. Okay.
And before we go, time to quickly mention Eugene Polly, a man who invented the remote control. Unfortunately, he died on Sunday, aged 96. Thanks, Eugene. You made everybody's life so much easier.
Indeed. We're going to be back tomorrow at 7 when... There we go. Graham Norton will be joining us before packing for Eurovision. Okay, bye-bye.
Have a
Music.
good evening. Bye.